Right. Hello. Welcome to the ReptiChat podcast, episode 59, the first episode of 2025. Happy New Year. It's been a little while. I haven't been here since the chaotic Christmas episode, which I've had quite a lot of feedback about. Some good, some not so good, but it was to be expected. But yes, obviously was ill between Christmas and New Year, so I had to cancel the New Year's episode. But I'm back today, feeling fresh haircut since the last time you saw me. Sick new stuff here, cool stuff going on in there being the house. And yeah, just decided solo Saturday, just have a bit of a catch up, bit of a Q&A, all that good stuff. So as always, let's start with Patreon. Patreon, you guys and girls are on screen now. Thank you very much for each and every one of you. Thank you very much to each and every one of you for your continued support. I am very, very grateful. And the podcast, for some reason, the cost of the podcast seems to be going up and up and up. So you guys supporting even as little as £1 a month is a massive, massive help. And without the Patreons, I don't think I would be able to do the podcast still. So yeah, you guys are all on screen now. I am very, very grateful. If you want to join the Patreon, there isn't at the moment because I haven't done it, but there will be after this episode a link down below where you can click, go over to Patreon, and I think there's a few posts you can see, but that aren't like you don't need to be a member for. And then if you want to sign up, you can. It starts at £1 a month. I think there's loads of tiers, and it goes all the way up to like 25 quid, I think, maybe even 50. All the tiers pretty much get the same thing. The only difference is stickers. They're delayed, so like if you're on £1 a month, you have to be signed up for a few months before you get the stickers. Whereas if you sign up for the £5 a month, I think you get them straight away, or I can't remember. It's all on Patreon. Go and have a look. And there is also a 5-day free trial. Next up, 2025 sponsor for the first 6 months or so. Let's have a look. Right. Hello. Welcome. It's me, Ben, from the past, doing an advert. Pre-recorded it. It's going to be so much better than normal. So, as I am sure you are aware, today's video is sponsored by Bobby of Rango's Tats. For some reason, there seems to be a link between reptile keepers and people that have tattoos. I don't know where this love for ink and scales comes from, but the majority of reptile keepers have tattoos. And that is why Bobby of Rango's Tats has decided to support the pod for the next few months. Bobby is based over in Bishop Stortford, which is near Stansted Airport, at a studio called Obsidian Ink. I've actually got 3 tattoos from Bobby, and each and every one of them has blown my expectations out of the water. If you're a reptile keeper that likes tattoos, or a tattoo enthusiast that likes reptiles, head over Rango's Tats on Instagram. Start your message with the word ReptiChat. Hopefully you've enjoyed my new advert. Back to the podcast. Enjoy. Amazing. I actually forgot I recorded that episode, that little advert there. So yeah, it's nice to see Ben from the past with a bit more hair. Right, I can see we've got some people in the chat. Let's have a look, see who we have got. We have got Fiona, early gang. Thank you very much, Fee. Nice to see you. We have got Josh. Thank you very much. Daniel, thank you very much for joining. Sam, lovely to have you here. Dan, yo, nice to see you. Paul's Monitors, oi oi. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. I'm waking up from a slumber. Very nice to see that tea there. We will talk about the teas in a little while, so stay tuned. Catty, Aop, lovely to have you there as well. I want a new tattoo, says Dan. We'll go and hit up Bobby. Start your message with the word ReptiChat and he will sort you out. Oh, we have got responsible reptile keeping in the house. Everybody say hi, responsible reptile keeping. There should be an RRK poster here, but it fell down and I ran it over with my chair. And I haven't got a replacement one yet. I do have 3 more in the house, but I haven't not done that. I will be talking a little bit more about responsible reptile keeping in a while, so stay tuned for that as well. Serenity, if missed the live, you need to go watch the episode of All Monitor Chat that just ended. What? If missed the live, you need to go and watch the episode of All Monitor Chat that just ended. Okay, I will do that. Nice. Smooth transition with RRK. Fresh member here. Yeah, shout out RRK. In fact, I haven't really got a plan for today's podcast, so let's talk about RRK first. You guys and girls have probably, if you haven't seen, you must be living under a rock. But all over socials, everywhere at the moment, myself and many other people are posting about responsible reptile keeping's 2025 worldwide super survey. Bit of a mouthful, I know, but it's worth it. It is a super survey. What is the super survey? Right, so basically, let me try and explain it. If I don't explain it very well and you want to know some more, go to Paul's podcast tomorrow where he has got Tony, the top dog of RRK, and they will be doing a deep dive. But for now, let me do my my spiel and I'll try and explain it. So again, I haven't done the link yet, but it will be in the show notes once I've finished the podcast. Or if anyone wants to put it in the chat now, feel free. So the RRK 2025 Reptile Super Survey. What is it? It is a worldwide survey trying to find out who keeps what, if they're captive bred, if they're wild caught, how old your animals are, what animals you keep. Do you keep snakes? Do you keep lizards? Do you keep frogs? Do you keep tortoises? How many animals have you got? Did you buy them from breeders? Did you breed them yourself? Are they wild caught? Did you buy them from a pet shop? How long have they been around? How long have they lived for? What's your oldest pet? How are you keeping them? Are you keeping them in vivariums, tortoise tables, blah, 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 blah. All that sort of stuff. They want to know the ins and outs of every single reptile keeper's reptile keeping. Why do they want to know this? So the idea is that if they can get all this information from around the world, so that's literally around the world, so UK, America, Canada, Australia, everywhere in Africa, the little tiny little islands all over the world. If you're down in the bottom of like Argentina and Chile, if you're in Antarctica, I don't know if there's anybody who keeps reptiles in Antarctica, but responsible reptile keeping will know. And why do they need this information? So you've probably seen Paul says link not working. I'll put the link in at the end, or just go on go to Responsible Reptile Keeping's Instagram. But yeah, why do they want this information? So you've probably seen loads of misinformation on the internet. Common things, for example, a statistic that goes around a lot is that I think it's like 90% of reptiles die in the first year of being kept or in captivity. We all know that's rubbish. I've got 20 animals in the shed. No, I'm in the shed. 20 animals in the house, maybe more. I haven't had a single one, touch wood, die within the first year. The oldest one I've got, 75%. Thank you. Yeah, so 75% of animals allegedly die after the first year. Bullshit. But how do we prove it's bullshit? We prove it with Responsible Reptile Keeping survey. They'll be able to say, look, that's rubbish. We've got hopefully 50,000, 100,000 reptile keepers here. And 99% of those have got animals that have lived longer than a year. In fact, the oldest one we've got is X. For example, I've got a leopard gecko that's 19. They reckon that leopard geckos don't live that long. 19. I know that because I hatched her out an egg 19 years ago. So yeah, that is a sort of a very brief idea of what responsible reptile keeping is. Like I said, if you want to know more, go to Paul's channel tomorrow. Paul, can you tell me what time it is? I think it's 8 o'clock tomorrow. Might be wrong, but Tony from Responsible Reptile Keeping is on the podcast. They're going to do a deep dive into all about the worldwide super survey. And Tony is saying, let's just get some comments quickly too. Links in Paul's bio. It's also in the Habitat bio. Responsible Reptile Keeping is saying bullshit. That's right, bullshit. And we're going to squash all the bullshit with actual facts, actual figures. I got the notification from Paul's podcast tomorrow, pulled up the link for the survey, completed the survey and submitted it. And how long did it take you? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if that. It's super easy. You literally just click buttons. There's no like essays to write. It's all, I think it's all multiple choice, or not. Most of it is multiple choice. It's very, very, very easy. Go and do it. Did wonder what the smell was. That's referring to the bullshit. There we go. The data helps us provide evidence to governments, and that's not just UK governments. That helps with US ARC as well. and plenty of other governments. But yeah, go and do it. It takes 5 minutes. There's a link somewhere. You'll find it. Warriors, once they know the info, what's going to stop them putting them on a ban list? Well, that is a very good question, and I don't know the answer. But what you can do is go and send Paul or Tony, so either Paul's monitors or Responsible Reptile Keeping, a message on Instagram now, and they will be able to answer that question for you tomorrow. So yeah, thank you, Ben. That was an awesome summary. You're very welcome. I sorry I didn't have like a better script. I'm doing it all off the dome today. But if anybody's got any questions, message me, message Tony, message Paul. There's plenty of people that know the answers, or if they don't know the answers, they'll be able to point you in the right direction. And thank you, Fiona. Yeah, 8 o'clock tomorrow over on Paul's channel. Okay, Amy said it took maybe 10 minutes to do the survey. 10 minutes is nothing. You can do that whilst you're on the toilet. It's easy. Whenever, like, whilst you're waiting for the kettle to boil, blah, 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 blah. You're more likely to have a species ban if we can't show the numbers kept. But tomorrow, tune in, 8 o'clock. That's the last of it. I'm not promoting Paul's podcast anymore today. I probably will, but yeah. Actually, one more question. I know nothing, but I'll make answers. You don't need to know anything. It's really easy, Serenity. So I wish I didn't have screen recording, but it's like, do you keep lizards? Yes or no? How many lizards do you keep? Like 1 to 2, 4 to blah 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 blah. How long have you kept them? And it's all just tick boxes. It's really easy. You know enough to do the survey. So please do it. And then once you've done it, put it on your Instagram stories or your Facebook wherever's or your threads or Twitter or wherever your social media preferences are. Tag your reptile friends. Tell them to do it. It helps. But yes, see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock over on Paul's channel. If I'm taking the survey while on the toilet, if you're on the toilet for over an hour, go to the doctors. Right, that is responsible reptile keeping. So, like I said, I haven't really got a plan for today, so it's going to be a bit of rambling, a bit of Q&A. We'll do Q&A at the end. I've got loads of Q's to A. We'll do that at the end. So, if we look at my thumbnail, we can see we've got some bits to talk about. We've got new reptiles. So let's do new reptiles first. So I'm saying so a lot today. I'm sort of just winging it. Yes, the question pertains to that's fine. Right. So new reptiles. You've probably seen on Instagram, and if you haven't, or Patreon new before Instagram, I have got a new reptile and 5 new amphibians since the last time I podcasted. I'm not sure if I had the reptile on the Christmas special. I don't know if we talked about it or not, but I have got a very nice leucistic Kingorum monitor, Varanus kingorum. It's a King's Rock monitor. At the moment, it is like this big, tiny lizard, which I was very kindly given in return for doing some work for a friend. We have named him King Henry because he's a king's monitor. He might be a sheep. I don't know. But yeah, for now, called King Henry. King Henry will be staying with me for a while, but unfortunately, I don't have the space for King Henry to stay for his entire life or her entire life. So once the Kingorum reaches a size where I'm not happy with it in the enclosure that it's currently in, because it will outgrow it, I will be looking to move on said Kingorum. So if anybody wants a Kingorum, drop me a message. I'll let you know if and when I decide to let him go. Haven't decided 100% yet. I might try and find space somewhere, but at the moment my house is full and I'm at capacity, and my wife will kill me if I put any Vivs anywhere else, which is understandable, to be fair, because we haven't got a spare wall or room anywhere. The only room in the house that hasn't got reptiles is the bathroom, and I'm not putting it in the bathroom. So yeah, but in the meantime, he's very cool. He is he'll take food from my fingers. Doesn't really do handling, but I don't force handle anything. If he wants to come and climb on me, he will. But like my Akis and my Gillanai, I've had them for over, how long have I had them for now? Over a year, maybe I don't know, 14 months possibly. Can't remember. I still don't really handle them. Like, they'll come to food, they'll take food from my fingers, but I'm not fussed about handling them. As and when they want to come, they will come. But yeah, that is new reptile. I posted lots of videos on Instagram. It's a really cool lizard, and it's a bit of a shame that I can't keep it. But space is a commodity, and I do not have much space. If Henry is a girl, gotta be called Anne Boleyn. Yeah, quite possibly. It's not a bad shout. Yeah, if not Anne Boleyn, there's 5 others we could name it as well. I said it should be called King Henry, or if it's a girl, we'll just call it King Henrietta. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I really like it. I'd like to keep it. Not enough space. Boo. But yeah, and then 5 new amphibians. So I think it was the week before Christmas, I picked up from RDJ Reptiles 5 white tree frogs. Hang on a second. You're talking about your future plans for the king. I was. We're moving on to the frogs now. There aren't really many plans for the king. It's staying for a while, and then it won't be staying forever, unfortunately. But yeah, the frogs, RDJ Reptiles. They are like a reptile rescue / charity / education place. And he had 5 white tree frogs surrendered to him by a keeper. That was, I don't know what the backstory was, but yeah. And he messaged me because when he was on the podcast last year, I mentioned that my daughter really wants white tree frogs. So I got a message. Hey Ben, I got 5 tree frogs. Do you want them? I messaged my daughter because I think she was at school. Do you want some tree frogs? Oh my god, yeah, I'd love some tree frogs. So yeah, a couple of days later, drove over towards RDJ, about an hour away, in the cold. Got a Mackey's with my daughter and came home with 5 white tree frogs. What she didn't know was, one, they're very loud when they get going, and it's normally about 11 o'clock at night they start calling, which is quite entertaining considering they're in her bedroom. The first night she was not impressed, but I think she's learning to sort of drown out the sound now. That or she's wearing earplugs, I don't know. But yeah, 5 white tree frogs. Their names are, apologies if this upsets anyone, but I thought it was quite funny. She has named them Monica, Rachel, Phoebe, Joey, and Ross. But there's no Chandler because Chandler's dead. And that's what she told me. So yeah, that's the names. There's not really much to report at the moment. They're in quite a small viv. It's a 45, 45, 45. That is what they came with. It's better than it turned up. But my priority at the moment is to find a much larger viv for them. So I'm looking for like a 90 by 90 by 45. So yeah, just browsing Facebook Marketplace because I'm not paying like pet shop prices. I got a quote of like 400 quid for a viv. And they pop up on Facebook for less than 100. So it's just a case of sitting and waiting. But they're all right for now. They're not fully grown, so they're fine. They've got heat. They've got UVB. They've got some LED. But yeah, the next thing I didn't realize about frogs is how much they eat. Yeah, a lot. I don't know if I'm overfeeding them. I googled it. Google's not very helpful. So I'm trying to feed them like 2 or 3 locusts each every few days, but I reckon they would eat a lot more. Google says to feed them as much as they'll eat in a 15-minute sitting, but I'm calling bullshit on that. So yeah, they seem to be all right. They don't seem to be gaining loads of weight. They're not losing any weight. They've all got appetites, but I know frogs have got ridiculous appetites anyway, so it's kind of hard to judge. But I think I'm doing all right with them. So yeah, apart from that, what else is going on reptile wise? What does that say? Ben knows more than I do know more than Google. They are called dumpy tree. I know they're called dumpy tree frogs for a reason, but I don't want them to be fat tree frogs. Dumpy's fine. Obese is bad. See, there we go. Most whites sadly are obese, but I'm sure you guys will be onto that. Exactly. See, obese bad, dumpy fine. I'm dumpy, not obese. I might be obese, but don't worry about that. It's fine. Anyway, what else have I got going on reptile wise? Devon frogs as a person. I agree. I got the Devon frogs care sheet that Bobby actually sent me. And I have read through it a few times. I need to go back and read it again. But yes, it's very, very good care sheet. And other reptile stuff. Gil and I are trying to breed, or they are breeding. I'm not really sure what's going on with them. But there seems to be a lot of trying to make love, which is pretty cool. What does that say? I'm not going to put that up, Paul. Nobody needs to see. That's fine. Yeah, so Gil and I, they're doing really well. They're a bit slower this time of year just because it's cold. I am giggling because Paul has just put up a comment that says Porky Paul, they call me. Well, whoever they are, Paul, tell them to go away because that's bullying and that's not very nice. Fee says, no one calls you that. Shut up. Anyway, let's move away from Porky Paul's comments. Yeah, Gil and I are doing good. Aki is doing really, really well. The Aki is, to be fair, she's getting pretty tame now. I say she. We think it's a he. I don't really handle it, but it'll come right up to my hand before food. I'm trying to, on the days that I'm not feeding it, spending more time like doing stuff in the viv, even if I don't really need to be doing anything. Like I'll move stuff around. I'll put my hand near him, her, so she can have like a sniff. Just get used to me. It seems to be going really well. Michael says, how old are the Gil and I? That's a very good question. I think coming up for 18 months. I will have to double check, but I think they're about 18 months old. I got them and they were about 2 months old. I think I got them last November, like 2023. So maybe just shy, maybe 15 months old. I don't know. Around that. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, and then morning geckos. Morning geckos are breeding profusely. I can't stop them. Not that I'm trying because I really enjoy baby morning geckos. They're tiny, they're brilliant. Only downside is sometimes they escape, and I find them on the walls of my kitchen, which doesn't go down very well with the wife. But she prefers finding morning geckos to crickets. So you win some, you lose some. Viper geckos are. I haven't seen much of the viper geckos, to be honest. It's relatively cold. They come out in the evenings, but they are just sort of eating. They're not breeding or anything at the moment. They tend to be hiding away quite a lot, but it's good. It's good. Cresties are cresties. Everything else is fine. I can't think of any other updates to do really about the reptiles. Tortoises are doing quite well. They've settled down a lot for the winter. They haven't gone into hibernation, and I haven't hibernated them because I haven't got a fridge to put them in at the moment, basically, and I can't put them in the fridge in the kitchen. But next year the plan is to hibernate them. I need to have another guest or two on regarding tortoises and talk to them a bit more because I still am not 100% about what I'm doing. And the last thing I want to do is put them in the fridge and then kill them. So yeah, but I think I also said I had a pair, and I don't think I have. I think I've got 2 females. So I might be on the hunt for a third and on the hunt for a male. But I don't really want to build another tortoise table, so I might not. I haven't really decided yet. Watch this space. A few comments as well. What's going on? Survey complete. See, that was that quick. I don't know how quick that was, but it was fast. Go and do the survey. Not that one. Not sure you can stop a lizard that's patho. No, you definitely can't stop the morning gecko's breeding. But I don't care. It's cool. I love finding the morning gecko eggs. Am I back? Or did I go anywhere? I don't even know if I'm still streaming. Am I? What happened? Hang on. Can you say I've updated? Am I back? Oh dear. What did I push the wrong button? Is what happened. Okay, I'm back. Phew. I don't know what happened. I pushed the wrong button. I accidentally closed everything. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Where do we get to? Do I have a loft? I do have a loft, but it's very well insulated, so it's not cold enough. I could put them in the shed, but again, it's very well insulated. And I don't. It can get to like 12, 15 degrees in here, even in like a cold winter's day. Um, so it's not really cold enough for them. So I don't really know unless I get a small fridge. Uh, uh, what's that? Really? Crush the eggs. I presume that's about morning geckos. I'm quite happy hatching morning geckos. They can just hatch and hatch and hatch and hatch and hatch. I've got someone locally that buys babies. Pretty like they're not expensive. Like it's a few quid a go. But yeah, that's like they're cool. I'll breed them until they decide that they don't want to breed anymore, which will probably be never. But I really enjoy the morning geckos. Catty, I filled out the survey earlier today. It took a couple of minutes. Super easy. If you've just joined and you don't know what survey we're talking about, it's the Responsible Reptile Keeping Worldwide Super Survey 2025, or the words of that in a different order. Go and check it out. What happened? We've done that. Where did I go? I pushed all the buttons wrong. Don't worry about that. I'm back. Everyone needs a morning gecko. Everyone needs loads of morning geckos. They're really cool. They are like 2 inches long. They chirp, they eat, they jump around, they change color quite a lot, which is pretty cool. Big fan. Does my incubator have a cooling feature? No, my incubator is a polystyrene box with a heat mat. Have a look. I want to try some morning geckos. They look fun. I could, you can, I don't know if I can, I can't send you, I could, but courier is expensive. I could maybe send you some eggs in the post. If you want some, and I can do that, let me know. Paul, I thought, Paul, you've got morning geckos. They're just at work. Anyway. Oh, there we go. We have them at work. They're great. You don't want them at home as well. One set's enough. So yeah, that is reptile updates. There's nothing else to say really on that at the moment. There are some reptile related questions in the Q&A, so I will get onto that as well. I have a career going to Scotland in February. Yeah, but isn't it like 50 quid to get them delivered to Michael? And if that's ridiculous, considering they're like £5 lizard. Unless you want to buy loads of them, there's no point in couriering them. There's always someone around that can breed them. If you want some, Michael, I can either send you some eggs, or I'm in a morning gecko breeding group, and I'm sure I can find someone local to you. I'd be worried about the tiny guys escaping. So I've got one in an Exoteraviv, and then I've got like tape all the way around the lid, and then it's got blue tack stuffed in the cable holes, and blue tack stuffed in the like where the hinges are as well. And it seems to stop most of them. The only thing I find is in the above the door, there's like a little gap in the hinge, and when you open the doors, there's little ones hide in there, and you'll either squish them and they die, which is rubbish. So I'm really careful not to squish them. But if they panic, instead of jumping into the viv, they just drop, and then they go underneath the viv, and then that's it. They're gone until they appear. So yeah, they are good though. You can post bird eggs. You can post exactly, and you can post. I can't see it being a problem, but it's far too cold to post them at the moment. Maybe in the summer when it's warm, once I've got an abundance of eggs, I'll get, because they lay in the tubes. If I stuff the tubes, it should stop them like coming loose. I can post you some. I don't mind. The morning gecko. It's not really a breeding group, but it is a good post. It is a good group. I enjoy it. It's very, very popular as well. Yeah, stop slating everyone. Leave morning geckos are cool. All right. So yeah, that is that for reptile updates for now. Next, let's talk about herping trips. So, if you watched my channel through 2024, you'll have seen that I tried and unfortunately failed to find every single reptile and every single amphibian in the UK. I nearly got them all, but I failed on sand lizard and natterjack toad. I think that was it. There might have been one. Maybe natterjack toad, pool frog, sand lizard. But I did find smooth snakes, I did find grass snakes. I did find adders. Did find common lizards. We found wall lizards. We found slow worms. We found great crested newt. I had a terrible experience identifying toads and frogs right at the beginning of the series, but yeah, it was great. I loved herping. The only reason we didn't find the sand lizards because I ran out of time in the year and it was cold. So this year's goals, every single UK reptile amphibian. It's going to happen. I don't care how long it takes. Well, we've got a time frame because obviously it gets cold again, but it's going to happen. I'm more prepared. I know the spots. I reckon, probably, apart from maybe a sand lizard, we could probably do all 6 reptiles in one day. Maybe a video in the future. But yeah, I absolutely fell in love with herping. Like I found like grass snakes and slow worms in the past before, just like walking the dogs. You come across them, but actively going out and looking for them was one of my favorite experiences ever. Like I absolutely loved it. I love going to the beach and finding the wall lizards, and then doing the research and finding the stories and why they're there and all that sort of stuff. Coming across the smooth snakes, the rarest snake in the rarest native snake in the UK. I found more smooth snakes in 2024 than I found adders, which is mad. Did I ever get the posters printed? No. If anybody wants them, I'll just send them the file. I was going to get them printed, but it was really expensive, and on postage on top, it was going to be like 12 quid per poster delivered, and it just seemed a bit expensive. But if you want them, let me know, and I'll just send you the file. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed herping. So this year, going to find as much time as possible to go herping more. And to start, maybe we probably start the series. I don't think we'll get out herping in the UK before. Are you frozen in at the moment? I don't know if that's to me. Yeah, I don't know if I'll get a chance before the end of March to go herping in the UK. We might go and get some like frogs and newts and stuff. But yeah, end of March, myself, Paul Monitors, Aidan Beverton, and Wildlife of Cookie are going to Morocco. Hopefully, that is the plan. Yeah, so like 5 days of Morocco herping, literally just going to find snakes and lizards. That's the whole point that we're going. Plenty of target species. Got I'm going to butcher some names now, but Varanus grissus, the desert monitor. I know that's very high up there on my want to find list. I know it is Paul's like number one holy grail to find in Morocco. I want to find the desert horn viper. There's a few different Euromastix species out there. One I'd really like to find is Euromastix nigravensis, which is like the big, massive orange one. So you don't know, I'm colorblind, so some colors I can't see. However, I can see orange, and they look cool. They've also got like tortoises. There's different tortoises out there. There's a couple of different chameleon species. There's loads of geckos, some really pretty like stenodactylus ones, and then you got like Moorish geckos and things like that. Loads of venomous stuff and loads of non-venomous snakes as well. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that we want to find. So that should be a good. Probably take a leaf out of Ridley Reptiles book and do at least 3 videos for that. Might even do a video a day. It depends how well it goes. Yeah, there we go. Another one. The helmet-headed gecko is a dream species for me to keep. They've got helmet-headed geckos in Morocco. Hopefully we'll be able to see some of those in the wild, which will be incredible. Responsible reptile keeping there saying my favorite lizard on the planet is from Morocco. So yeah, there's so much cool stuff in Morocco. It's going to be hopefully a trip of a lifetime, but it's also ridiculously cheap. So if it goes well and we enjoy it, might become trip of every single year. It's been cold. March is still going to be cold. Heading over to Morocco, if nothing else, like 4 or 5 days of sunshine will make us all feel a bit better, and then finding reptiles on top of that will be pucker. If it does go well, we might also go back later on in the year, like towards the end of year in autumn. But it depends on the cost and how it goes, really. But I'm really, really looking forward to that. I think that's my favourite thing that I've got planned for 2025 so far. Whilst I'm on the subject of herping, I know it's a bit all over the place, but you will see on here, no, not that one, this one, we've also got merch updates. So thank you very much to anyone that bought ReptiChat merch in 2024, just before Christmas. It is much appreciated. And since then, I have found a love for making clothing. I've been doing lots of research and lots of samples and lots of prints and trial and testing and all that sort of stuff. I've decided at some point in the first third of 2025, I am going to launch a clothing brand. You might see me wearing it now. I'm wearing a hoodie. The clothing will be called Species. I've been sharing it on my Instagram. The Instagram is @wear.species. And the plan is I'll still be producing ReptiChat merch, but Species will be its own separate thing. Species will be a clothing brand that will fulfill merch orders for not just myself, but for other people. So if you want merch, for example, I've done some bits for Riddler Reptiles. I've done a couple of samples for Paul recently. I've done some for my mum's social media, which is Kim's Wellness Space. If you want to go check that out, if probably not a reptile enthusiastic thing, but if you like wellness and women's health and that sort of stuff, I've done some merch for her. And I'll be looking at doing some merch for various other people in the future as well. But yeah, so I'll be doing merch fulfillment for, I don't know, what's the content creators, I guess. But not only that, I will also be producing Species clothing. You may have seen this. Behind this is another one. So I've been working on these for ages. This is what I'm going to be calling the Species Bold Tee. All right, bold logo, center of the t-shirt. Nice little stuff in the inside, makes it look fancy. But on the back, we have, if you can see, I don't know how it's shown on the camera, this beautiful grass snake. So the grass snake itself was photographed by Aidan, and then I have had the image, I don't know what the word is, stylized, I guess, into something that is less of a photograph and more of a piece of, I don't know, like an artwork for a merch design. So yeah, grass snake is my favorite. Is it my favorite? Don't know. There's two. So grass snake is sick. I'm well happy with it. Also, color wise, khaki, black. That's the only colors I'm doing to start with. If you don't like the grass snake, or you go, I like the grass snake, but you know, you know what, Ben? You know what I prefer is an adder. Well, have no fear. Khaki, species, nice. You can't see it because of the hanger. It's there. Adder. If you watched my, I don't know if it was the last herping video. I think it was the last herping video of 2024. You will have seen that myself and Adam went herping for adders, and we came across a few adders. This is a photograph that I took, and then again we've had it stylized. So yeah, adder and grass snake will be available on t-shirts at some point in the very near future. If you don't like the bold logo in the center of the t-shirt, I've just made that really dirty. There will also be a classic t-shirt which will have a small logo over on the left breast somewhere, but the logo is still being designed and made at the moment, so it's not quite finalized. But yeah, black and khaki, adder, grass snake, bold t-shirt, classic t-shirt. No hoodies at the moment because there's too much to think about. I'm just going to do t-shirts and t-shirts alone when I launch, but there will be other stuff in the future. People have already asked me about hats. People have already asked me about just hats, actually, as well as hoodies and t-shirts, but they're coming. If you're interested, go and follow wear.species on Instagram. Drop me a message if you prefer. It is coming. If you're on Patreon as well, you can get free postage if you're in the UK. And if you're not in the UK, you get a £5 off your order, regardless of if it's species stuff or ReptiChat stuff. Fiona says, what about non-reptile peoples? Become reptile peoples? Or I was toying with the idea of doing like a basic tee where it is just black or khaki and it'll be the front only. Blank backs, just a logo. either the bold logo or the little new logo, which I haven't got designed yet. But there will be options, plenty of options. And I don't want it to be merch. I want it to be reptile clothing for people that like reptiles or people that just go, that's cool, I want to buy that. So yeah, lots of stuff available in the future. Is coming, but I don't want to rush it. Any questions over here? Let's have a look. Oh, there's loads of comments. Blah, 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 blah. If you'd like to do a podcast about the worst herping trip ever, Equatorial Guinea, I'm in. It will make you laugh. It sounds it was terrible. Tony, I'll hold you to that. We'll get you on and we'll do a herping trip. I love talking about herping. My episode of when we talked with Aidan about his herping trips was a great episode. I really enjoyed that and I absolutely love it. Morocco, that's where my friend's husband is from. I had no idea that herping was a thing in Morocco. It's pretty wild. Apparently, Morocco is a herper's paradise. From what I've seen in the research I've been doing, it is absolutely full of snakes and lizards. And also lots of frogs and toads, which I thought was weird because it's like in the Sahara Desert. But yeah, should be very, very good. Need to get some polo shirts sorted. I'm in my RRK polo at the moment. Yeah, I'll talk to you about polo shirts. I know I don't really wear polos, so I don't know what is a good blank and what isn't a good blank. But if polo shirts is something that there's a demand for, I don't see why I couldn't do it. My only not concern, but instant thing is polo shirts are generally embroidered, whereas these are DTF printed. And I do the DTF printing myself, but I don't have an embroiderer machine. But yeah, drop me a message, Michael, and we can discuss polo shirts. Aidan wearing my sexy new Natrix shirt currently. Aidan has got a sample that I've done today, and because it's Aidan's beautiful grass snake picture, Aidan gets first dibs. But I'm glad. Hopefully you like it. You say it's sexy. Is it comfy? Does it fit all right? That's what we like. You know what I prefer, Ben? Lizards. That's fine, Michael. Snakes. We've got to start small. I can't just release everything in one go. But don't worry, there will be UK. Oh well, the plan is hopefully to do all of the UK reptiles on t-shirts. If Morocco goes well and we get some nice, decent photos, there might be a Morocco collection, and so on and so forth. And it was just going to build and get better and better and better. But we've got to start somewhere, so we're starting with the grass snake and the adder. Yeah, I've never even thought about all of these cool reptiles over in Morocco. Honestly, Amy, there's so many cool animals in Morocco. It's ridiculous. Let's go. Those shirts are awesome, Ben. Great work. Thank you very much. I have been the other one, like this hoodie I've had since November. I've been testing it. The grass snake t-shirt we printed today. This is the first. Well, I say I printed today. First time I've seen it in the flesh. I'm really, really happy with it. I do have it on khaki as well, and it looks really good. But I haven't got it in the studio. It's in the house, and I'm not going to get it because it's cold. But yeah, they look great. I'm really, really happy. Let's see. Species DTF. Yeah. Direct to film printing is what DTF stands for. Nothing else. And buddy, I did a month in Morocco. It's greener than you think until you get to the desert. Yeah, to be fair, I've watched a lot of videos recently and I'm really looking forward to going. The plan, I think, is to fly into Agadir, which is just south of the Atlas Mountains. Spend maybe a day in the mountains and a couple of days in the desert, like searching through the wells and systems and stuff to see what we can find. I'm hoping we're going to get it booked this week. So yeah, we shall see. But fingers crossed. I'm really, really looking forward to it. We're going for a few days as we're scared we'll die. Pretty much. We don't want to go for too long because, yeah, I'm not very good with food at the best of times. I'm not the only one on the group that's not very good with food. So don't want to be going over for too long and then either not being able to eat or being very unwell. So go for a few days. If I have to not eat much, I won't eat much. There's also a few Mackies. We've checked the Mackies like area already. So it should be fine. Not only that, I think they're like highest alert for terrorism at the moment as well. It doesn't matter. We're just going to go. It'll be fine. It's going to be a nice trip. From what I've seen, It's very nice. Everyone is very friendly. We'll be going during Ramadan as well, which is something I haven't experienced before. Obviously, it's an Islamic country, so it's a dry state, but that's fine because I don't drink anyway. If I'm going to die, it's probably because I'm going to get bitten by a snake in the middle of the desert, to be fair. If you're scared of dying there and not good with food, you'll love the Equatorial Guinea stories. Okay, I'm going to write that down in a minute, and we are, yeah, we're definitely having you back on, Tony, so we can discuss that. You just have to be faster than the slowest member. That is true, but it depends what's killing us. Atlas Mountains are epic. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going through the mountains. It looks really, really good. I meant from our bum, but guess it's the same guy running for the toilet. Just avoid orange juice from the store. They mix it with water, which is bad. To be fair, I doubt I'll be buying any street food. It'll be bottled water and probably chicken nuggets from McDonald's. We checked. Like Paul says, there are many McDonald's. We should be fine. Like in Agadir itself, there's like 4, and it's not a very big place. So yeah, we should be fine. Should be fine. I'd quite like to go and look around the markets and stuff because they look really colourful and it's like an experience. But we're there to find reptiles. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have no idea. I don't really have any expectations one way or another because it's some like so far out of what I've never been to anywhere like that before. Like I haven't done a lot of abroad, and when I have, it's been like Holland, America, and when I went to Cyprus, I stayed with my parents. So like going to a country, to a continent I've never been to a country I've never been to go herping for animals I've never seen before. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So yeah, plenty of Morocco content to come, hopefully. I'll be keeping the Instagram updated as and when I know what's going on. But yeah, it should be very, very good. So I think apart from the Q&A, that's pretty much everything summed up that I wanted to talk about. I've got all the cues on my phone somewhere. I'm not going to go through who's asked all the questions because I don't want to. I'll just ask the questions. I've had a few like of the same question from different people as well. So there we go. What does that say? Agadir was the most touristy city I visited, so should be safe. I'm not fussed about the safety. To be fair, I think we'll be absolutely fine. Agadir and Marrakesh are both very touristy, and we're not planning on going far from the touristy, like from Agadir anyway. And even if we do, the videos I've seen and they're like the trip reports I've read, it's all very nice. It's only you get the odd scaremongering post normally from Americans, where they went and they didn't like the begging and stuff. But it's a third world country; it's going to happen as long as we expect it. I'm fine. Safe in terms of food and drink. Oh, it is what it is. Right. First question. I will actually name and shame the person that asked this. My very supportive friend Ridley Reptiles was the first person to ask a question, and his question is: what year did Tiger Woods win his first golf trophy? I don't know. I could probably Google it. Actually, I do know the answer because I did Google it. Let me see if I can find it. Just so I've answered his question, because otherwise he'll be like, well, I don't know why you blanked me. Tiger Woods won his first golf trophy in 1996. It was at Las Vegas International. There you go, Riddler. Thank you for your continued support. Next question. Imagine if all reptiles could get on with each other. Pick 2 different species for a multi-species setup. That's a very good question. I haven't read through the questions properly, so I haven't thought of anything off the top of my head. So it'll all be off the top of my head. If they can all get on with each other, obviously they're not going to breed and they're not going to eat each other, and it's not going to stress each other out being in an enclosure together. I would like to keep together. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Maybe something. I'm going to presume that they all live in the same parameters as well because it makes it easier. I would like a green tree python because they're very cool, but they don't do a lot. And I would like that to be living with tokay geckos. Bearing in mind that, for the sake of the question, everything gets on. So the Snakes aren't going to eat the lizards. The lizards aren't going to hurt the snakes. They're not going to stress each other out. But you get to see the cool green tree python just sat there doing all its green tree python stuff. And then you get the excitement of the tokos. Occasionally you'll see them, you'll hear them. I think that would be a cool communal setup. Good question. I like that. What's that comment? The only worry there is being scammed. If it seems if it probably is. Yeah, I've seen that. This is again in relation to Morocco. There's lots of like aggressive begging, and you're expected to haggle as well. But I honestly I think it'd be fine. I've done a lot of research. I'm not worried. I spoke to my stepdad who has travelled the world a few times, and he's been to everywhere. And he said it's a very nice place. And most people, if not all people I've spoken to, say it was a really nice time. So yeah, it should be good. Paul, I'm not going to read your comment out, but you'll be fine. Next question. What are my reptile plans for 2025? I haven't got any. I have no plans apart from keep what I'm keeping. Nothing apart from the Kingorum will need an upgrade in vivarium size. I might change the vivs around a bit. Only things I want to do is there's a few animals that are on normal Pro T5 UVB from Arcadia, and I'd quite like to get them on Luminize. As for adding reptiles, no plans to add any reptiles at all. And yeah, like I said, the Kingorum probably won't be staying, so that will be going at some point. But yeah, that is my 2025 reptile plans, I think. What does that say? Haggling is fun. Just offer a quarter of what they say, then agree on half they started with. Yeah, I saw something like that. I also there was another post that said you should only ever pay a third of their original asking price. But like I said, we're not really going to the markets. I don't think we'll be buying much. So I don't know if there'll be much haggling needed to be doing. Maybe, like, I don't know. We'll see. I'll try and vlog it all. But I have no idea. I don't know. People don't particularly like having cameras pointing in their faces, so it'll probably be more reptile vloggy. But I might try and get some like lifestyle-y type stuff on the videos as well. Next question. Oh, here we go. We've got loads of questions. Question number 1. What is my favourite packet of crisps? Now, this one I did see and I have thought about. And it's a very difficult question because I have 2 favourite crisps. I love a mini cheddar. Some would argue it's not a crisp. I don't care. It comes in a packet like a crisp packet. I'm counting it at crisps. I also really like Wotsits. I love a Wotsit. So yeah, that would be my top 2. If I had to do top 3, coming in at number 3 would be salt and vinegar Walkers. Like relatively plain, bit more exciting than just a ready salted. But yeah, Wotsit. I'll probably go salt and vinegar Walkers at number 3. Wotsits at number 2. Mini cheddars at number 1. Tony says tomato flavored snaps. I don't know what they are. I don't think I've ever seen a crisp called a snap. They're a bit like a Cheez-It, but tomato flavored. Who knows? I'm going to go and find some tomato flavored snaps. I like to try new things. That'll be one thing I can do in Morocco. See what crisps they've got. Oh, exciting. Yeah, there you go. That's my top 3 crisps. Next question. What is my actual day job? My day job, I am the UK logistics support manager for an aircraft parts company. Sounds very cool. Essentially, what I do is put really heavy bits of metal in cardboard boxes and post them around the world. There's not that much to it. But yeah, it sounds cool. It pays the bills. It keeps me being able to. It's just I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's all right. I enjoy it. The money's good enough that it keeps me being able to do what I want to do. So yeah, that is what I do for a day job. Next is, does Dan have ADHD? Yes. Next question. Any new species on the list for this year? I pretty much just covered that, haven't I? So no, unfortunately. I'd like to, but I haven't got the space. The only thing I might get towards the end of the year is a tree monitor. If my chameleon dies, he might die this year. I don't know. He's coming up for like 7 now. So, you know, he's getting there. But I'm not wishing him dead. I love the chameleon, but it is it's a reality that will happen sooner or later because they don't live. I don't think I don't know how long they live. It's like 7 to 10, I guess. They might live a little bit longer. And like if he does, if he lives to 15, lives to 15. But there is a placeholder when he does eventually pass away. Tree monster. Don't know what color. I can't decide. Probably a blue one. Anyway, yeah, right. Next, social media goals for 2025. Do I have social media goals for 2025? I don't have numbers goals. Don't really care about the numbers. Like just you guys coming along is amazing. I would like to stay consistent with the podcast, upload every other week as I've been doing. Once the weather gets nice, start vlogging again. I'm not vlogging in the winter because I just find myself making content for the sake of making content, and it's not as fun as making content when I have something to actually make content about. So yeah, lots of herping videos, hopefully to come in 2025. If I had to put numbers and stuff on social media goals, I'd like to get monetized on YouTube. You know, every little helps. I think I'm on like just shy of 700 subscribers at the moment as well. If I could get that to 1,000 on YouTube, that would be cool. Instagram, I don't know, 2,500 followers would be good. But again, I'm not fussed. Like you guys come, I appreciate it. Even if there's 10 of you that turn up every week, it makes my day. Let's just check the comments. Talk about chameleons again. 10 is a bloody old chameleon. Yeah, I know. A bloody old, especially for a Yemen. It is. I agree. Is that Jamaican? No. I don't think he'll make it probably past 8. But at the moment, he is thriving. Excuse me. So yeah, chameleon is chameleon now. Next, plans for 2025. That's the same question again. I think we've pretty much done that. I suppose Morocco, maybe Morocco again later in the year. I'd like to see if we can find Asclepian snakes in London at some point this year. Go over to Bristol to see the wall. Is it no? What the Italian wall is over in Bristol by the is it Bempton Cliffs? I think. Yeah, lots of herping, lots of just wildlife stuff in general. It doesn't even need to be reptiles. Like I'm very local to Nep. Nep have got obviously the White Stork project. They've also got beavers. So I'd like to see if I can see them. I don't know if they're accessible to see or not. I think they might be in a pen at the moment. But yeah, just lots of cool wildlife stuff in general. I'd quite like to go over to Skoma to see the puffins. I'd like to go over to wherever it is in Kent. I can't remember, to find the yellow-tailed scorpion colony that lives in the UK. Just lots of enjoying the reptiles at home and finding animals in the wild, regardless of where it is. Paul, what does that say? A western green lizard in Bournemouth would be mad. Yeah, I agree. It will be very cool. So yeah, there's plenty of stuff. There's even like wild stick insects in certain places in the UK now. There's also like I'd like to go Forest of Dean and see the wild boar. And then maybe I'm hoping to travel a bit more this year as well. Get out of the country. Obviously, Morocco's happening. I should be going back to Holland for work a few times because we've got an office over there, and there's actually quite a lot of reptiles in Holland. So I might see if I can find some Holland keepers and do a bit of herping in the evenings maybe once I'm not working. I'm also supposed to be going to Miami because we've got work offices over there for work. So obviously, if I'm in Florida, I will be heading over to the Everglades when I'm not in the office. So yeah, plenty of stuff. It's very, very exciting. But yeah, 2025 plans. Just go enjoy the year because the last few years have been pretty hard, just in home life and just life in general. So I'm looking forward to getting out and making memories more than anything else. Yeah, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. I can put you in touch with our members over the Netherlands. There's some cool venomous guys over there. Yes, please let me know if you know anybody in specific. Near Amsterdam would be best because that's where the office is based. But that would be very, very cool. I'd like to do that. I did try a few times when I was over there last time, but the iNaturalist was, to be fair, it was good, but I don't really know what I was looking for. I was very new to the herping. But yeah, plenty of stuff. Hopefully, a few trips to Europe. I know myself and Paul have spoken a few times about various places, but one of them that is very local for a different country, is France. Obviously, France is not far away at all, and there's actually quite a lot of reptiles um, in France and scorpions as well, which I had no idea. Um, so that's cool. What does that say? He's coming down to Florida too. I think we should all meet up in the Everglades and do a big herping trip down there. Yeah, that would be really cool. I'm going to time my trip so it's a different time from Riddler because I don't want to spend time with him in Florida. It's nice enough talking to him on the internet, but can you imagine being on holiday with him? That would be hard. Next question: is there anything you want to be adding to your collection 2025? I think we've covered that. Next question: what dog breeds do you have, and how do they find the reptiles? Good question. I have got 3 dogs. I have got a Husky cross Border Collie named Jamie. We have got a Jack Russell Terrier, and we've got a Bitzer. He's a bits of this and he's bits of that. We had a DNA test on him, and he came back as like 23% Anatolian Shepherd, and the rest of it was too watered down that they couldn't tell us much at all. There was a bit of poodle, bit of terrier. It's just like a mongrel, but he's lovely. He's rescue. He came from Romania. All the dogs are great with the reptiles, but that's mainly because they don't ever have any interaction with the reptiles. The Jack Russell occasionally will watch the Aki because they're at the same eye level, but there's no barking, doesn't chase. But I will never open any of the Vivs with the dogs in the same room. I've got baby gates in the house anyway to separate the dogs for like when someone's at the door or if we're cooking and they get under my feet. So yeah, I can separate the dogs out of the room with the reptiles that I'm working with at the time. So there's never any risk. I'm 99% sure that the dogs would never harm the reptiles and vice versa, but I'm not taking that 1% chance. There's no need for the dogs to. Oh, ignore that. Ignore that. Put my phone on silent. There's there's no need for the dogs to ever come in contact with the reptiles. So they don't not get on, but they won't ever need to get on. So yeah. I think I missed a question about that yet. No, I didn't. That's that one. Next question. Where is the best place you have been herping in the UK? Great question. Difficult to answer. All of the places that I went herping this year or last year were really good. Apart from the local woods to me, where I was convinced I was going to find some adders, and I found nothing because it had all been chopped down and mowed, and it was rubbish. The beach that we went to in West Sussex to find the wall lizards was incredible. Myself and Paul probably found, in fact, in that day, we found over 100 reptiles. We probably found 50 wall lizards between the beach and the train station locally, which was mad. Just some random train station, and there's a massive colony of wall lizards. That was really good. We also found loads of slow worms and grass snakes and an adder that day. That was really good. Herping for adders with Aidan on the South Downs, really good. We found 2. But these 2, if you've seen the video, you'll know we managed to get really close to them, get some great photos, and spend a little time just like admiring the snakes. Because normally when you see them, it's like, oh, there's one, and they disappear. And this time we had the chance to sort of get a proper close look at them, and I really enjoyed that, having not seen them up close and personal like before. It was thoroughly enjoyable. Smooth snakes was amazing because they're super rare, and we found a few of them. Well, I found a few of them a couple of times, which was amazing. Very, very cool snakes. And then what else we do? Common lizards. Common lizard at the boardwalk in the Surrey Hills was great fun. So I took my wife and my daughter there. Again, you've probably seen the video. If you haven't, go and watch it. But yeah, you literally walk along this boardwalk and it's like, there's a lizard, there's a lizard, there's a lizard, there's a lizard, there's a lizard. Very, very cool. Thoroughly enjoyed every herping trip I've been on this year. And last year, and hopefully there will be some more. Next question is one in the comments on the video at the moment from Responsible Reptile Keeping. If you could swap collections with any other herper, who would you change places with? That is a very good question. And a few people popped to mind straight away. Obviously, Paul's got a very cool collection. MJH Exotics has got a very cool collection. Dan's got a cool collection. Like, everybody that I know has a cool collection of animals for some reason, whether it be quantity, whether it be species, whether it be individuals, like individual animals within that collection. But who would I swap collection with is a very good question. I think, putting myself on the spot, at the moment in time, I would swap collections with Dan of Nardini Exotics. My favourite animals in my collection are my Aki and my Gillanai. And Dan has Akis and has 3 siblings to my Gillanai. So it wouldn't be like I'm losing my own animals in a way. But then I would be gaining some very cool tree monitors, some very cool Pilbara, and I don't know if he's mentioned the other lizards on the internet or not yet, but he's got some other cool monitors. He's got some cool geckos. So yeah, I think. Oh, and he's got those Agurnia, which are really cool. I really like those. Yeah. So Dan from Nardini Exotics, I would swap collections with him at this present moment in time. Yeah, the Agurnia are really cool, actually. I really like those. I forget that he has them as well. Right, next question. What's the main goal for 2025? Get out, make memories, enjoy life. What was the thing that you were the most proud of in 2024? That is a good question. I don't know. What was I most proud of? What was I'm presuming we're talking in the reptile world, podcasty world, as opposed to life world. I think the merch I was very, very proud of. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I've had some very good feedback from people. It came out better than I was expecting it to. So yeah, very proud of that. Very proud that nothing's died, because that can happen, but nothing's died, which is good. Means I'm doing all right. Podcast is going well. I hit 10,000 downloads, so that was quite an achievement for the podcast. Yeah, I think that's what I am proud of. There's probably other things as well. There's some work things. The work's going really well at the moment, but yeah, lots of cool things. There's a question there. What's the best reptile shop I've been? What's the best reptile shop in the UK that I have been to? That was a good question. My favourite reptile shop that I have been to is Emsworth Reptiles. Excuse me. Paul said the same thing. But yeah, Emsworth Reptiles in Emsworth, which is down like Portsmouth way. It's very, very, very good. Excuse me just a second. I haven't been to a lot of reptile shops, to be fair, so I'm sure there's plenty that I'm missing. But Emsworth is very good. They have a great range of animals. All of the animals are in like decent size enclosures. They all look really well cared for. There's a good range of dry goods. The owner's very knowledgeable. The staff are friendly. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. Oh dear. Right, let's have a look at the comments as well. Reptile Hotel is my favourite local one up north. That's another reptile shop. I think a few people in the comments are doing reptile shops. Chaz's Place, the way he deals with customers, especially newbies and kids, makes me so happy. Nice. Snakes and Adders in Sheffield. I've heard very good things about Snakes and Adders. There's another one. Global Geckos, I thought was great. Love the captive predator stuff. Global Geckos is another one that I've been to. Again, it's a very, very good shop. It's a very, very small shop, but they've managed to cram a whole bunch of cool stuff in the very small shop. That's probably my second second best reptile shop I've been to. But like I said, I've not been to many. I tend to stay away from them because otherwise I spend money that I don't have. But if I'm in the area, I'll go and visit. But yeah, global geckos, Emsworth reptiles, big fans. Ridgeway, again, it's a good shop. It's nice. It's set out really nicely. It's cool. My wife and I went there a while ago, and they spent ages with my wife just talking to her about the tortoises because I've got a big group of. I'm not even sure what tortoises they are, but they're a big group of big tortoises. My wife loves the tortoise, and she got to interact with those. Southampton reptiles I've never been to. But yeah, I think that's. I don't think like that. Yeah, I haven't been to many at all. Like Slytherin reptiles, I follow on Instagram. I've never been. It looks like a cool place, but I wouldn't. I've never actually been, so I can't comment. I used to go to TA Exotics quite a lot, but that's unfortunately closed. So yeah, there's some cool places. Definitely some cool places around. Next question. What's one thing in 2024 you wish you did and you will do this year? Good question. Find a sand lizard. Find all of the UK reptiles and amphibians in 1 year. That is my goal for 2024, 2025. 2025. I thoroughly enjoyed doing it last year. I was gutted that I ran out of time and couldn't get the last few. So this year, start a bit earlier, and hopefully, we will hit, or I will hit all of them. That's the goal for 2025. What was the biggest takeaway from 2024? Good question. Life's short. Make the most of it. One of my friends passed away in 2024. She took her own life. She's only 23 years old. It was very, very sad. So I've decided this year and future years, I'm not going to be hanging around for things to happen. I want to make things happen. So, Morocco trip, going to be cool. Finding all the reptiles in the UK, going to be cool. Doing podcasts with cool people, going to be cool. I've been talking in the DMs on Instagram a lot to Steve Backshall. If I can get Steve Backshall on the podcast, that will be mad. So yeah, make things happen. That's the plan. I'm just reading the comments. What's he saying? What was the biggest takeaway in 2024? Chinese. You're probably not wrong. It was probably Chinese. If you're doing it in value, probably Domino's. I spent far too much money on pizza. For quite frankly, what is normally a subpar pizza, but I can't help myself. It's cheap. It's good. So yeah, that's my two biggest takeaways: life takeaway, food takeaway. It is what it is. Sorry for my loss. No worries, Catty. Thank you. Yeah, that is that. Any more questions? What are the podcast plans for 2025? Keep doing the podcast. Stay consistent. Episode every other week. Hopefully, I won't miss any. I've only missed one in the 2 years I've been doing the podcast now, or just about 2 years. I think it's 2 years end of Feb. So yeah, I've missed one podcast because I literally was in bed dying. Not dying, but I was in bed. I was very, very poorly. So yeah, that's the plan. Get cool guests on. Like Catty says, oh my God, Steve would be amazing. So yeah, I'm trying. I've been chatting to him a lot. I hear Steve B is 5k a day. Well, I've spoken to him a lot in the DMs. He's in Australia at the moment, but it's looking like I'll be able to get him on. Can't promise anything, but trust me, I'm trying. Yeah, just lots of guests. I don't really have a huge guest list at the moment. I don't really know what I want in terms of guests for this year. In 2023 and 2024, the beginning of 2024, it was a lot of like keepers, and the conversation was very much what are you keeping, how long have you been keeping, all that sort of stuff. And whilst I enjoyed that, I want more stories. I want more education. So the podcast will sort of be evolving into. Like, don't get me wrong, it'll always be reptile keepers or animal keepers of some description, um, or experiences with animals, and it will always be an animal podcast. But I want to hear more stories of like herping trips, or I want to hear how you are the only person in the UK to have successfully hatched 4 captive red mangrove monitors, or I want to hear from Tony about what he's doing to fight the good fight. I want to hear cool stories. I want to hear like from there's a man I'm trying to get on the podcast who does, excuse me, snorkeling and diving off the coast of the UK, and he finds sharks in the UK and jellyfish and starfish and seahorses and stuff like that. I want to talk to people that have stories, and I want to talk to people that can share their stories with you guys. Conservation's always good as well. A friend of mine who I've been friends with for like 6 years, I only recently found out works at the Natural History Museum in London, and she does a lot of stuff with their, I don't know what the correct word is, but like, you know, they've got the drawers, all like the finches and the bugs and everything that has been like taxidermied, and they keep it for scientific reasons. She's in charge of loads of stuff, like all of that sort of stuff. She'll be coming on the podcast at some point. She's just moving house, so it'll be a little while. But once she's moved house, settled, that is a guest that's coming on. So yeah, if you've got anybody that you know or you follow on Instagram or seen on YouTube and you want me to get them on the podcast to talk about their stories, let me know, because I'm really enjoying the stories. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the talking to people about what they keep, but it's the same questions every week, and although the answers are different, the answers are always very similar. Whereas the stories from people are always different and exciting. For example, Aiden's just commented, the word I was looking for is holotype. Thank you. For example, Aiden's stories, when he was herping, he fell down a well, knocked himself out. I don't know where he was herping then, but that's ridiculous. I want to hear more about that. It's brilliant. So yeah, plenty of interesting and exciting guests coming up. Watch this space. Final question there. And the final question, actually, it's the final question on my list. So if you've got any questions, put them in the comments now, because otherwise I'm going to start wrapping up. And the final question is, any plans for new species? No, we've already been through it. So yeah, that is all the questions that I had submitted on socials. Daniel says Ben Miles. That is a good shout. I've been looking at Ben Miles' stuff on Instagram recently. So I may drop him a message. It'd be quite good to have another herper, as I love the chats about herping. It just gets me excited to go herping myself. My buddy worked at the Natural History Museum. They get so many invertebrates to identify, they're running out of names for them. My mate has half a dozen beetles named after him because they can't be bothered to try, or just they can't be bothered to try. Either way, that is very cool. I find it so interesting. I don't, obviously it might be common knowledge to some people, but it wasn't common knowledge to me. But I didn't realize that the person that finds the species isn't the same person that gets to name the species. That had the species has to be described by someone, and then they get to name it, which I didn't realize. I watched it on some documentary not that long ago, and I thought that was very interesting. I thought if you found the animal, you got to name it, but that's not the case. So, yeah, exciting little fact for you there. True, you're named in honor. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes, like, you don't even have to be named. I could go and find a new snail today, and the person that describes it could call it something completely irrelevant to me. I'd be a bit disappointed, but there's nothing stopping them. Yeah, I thought that was a fun little fact. It looks like there are no more questions coming through on the chat. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, so I think it is about time to wrap up the first podcast episode now of 2025. I'll keep an eye on the chat in case they do come through whilst I'm wrapping up. But yeah, thank you very, very much for being in the chat today. I think the most people I saw in the chat was like 16 people, so that is nice. What I like to see. Thank you very much all for coming along. Like I said at the beginning of the show, there is a Patreon. There will be a link below, or you can just go to www.patreon.com/ReptiChat. Yeah, £1 a month or more helps podcast massively. Patreon will also be the first people to find out what's going on with the merch and when it will be available, but it's looking like it will be available at some point in Feb. That is the plan. If you want to know more about that, Patreon or Where Species, or I'll share anything I'll put on Species on my Instagram, my ReptiChat Instagram anyway. If you want to know more about me and the ReptiChat podcast, you can go onto any of your favorite social medias apart from Threads and Twitter and type in ReptiChat and I will pop up. So yeah, that is that. What does that say? See you this time tomorrow live on YouTube. Yeah, like I said earlier, if you want to know more about Responsible Reptile Keeping's 2025 Worldwide Super Survey, tomorrow, 8 p.m, head over to Paul's channel. Paul and Tony will be there going deep on the Worldwide Super Survey. If you haven't done it already, come back after this episode, like 5 minutes, give me a chance to update it. The link will be in the description as well. Go and do the survey. Help the Responsible Reptile Keeping guys out. But yeah, that's it. I'm rambling now. I've been Ben McIntyre. This has been a ReptiChat podcast. I will see you in 2 weeks' time. But until then, bye-bye.